You are listening to the TheVCast.
What's up? Welcome back to the VCast. I am Vic Cedeno. With me today is the newest addition to the Dojo Door crew, Chris Carfaro. How's it going, buddy?
I'm good, man. Thank you for the hookup. I appreciate that.
Yes. How's it going? How is life at the dojo been treating you? Because now not only are you the second door guy, the second hire of door guys, official hire. Anyway, we've had other door guys that have helped out, but you are the official door guy apprentice
In training.
And you also are hosting the Tuesday night open mic at the dojo.
Hell yeah, dude.
Lots going on for you.
Yeah, it's been crazy. The door guy thing has been probably the most crazy part because going from a guy who looks like you to a guy who looks like me, I think some of the customers are getting a little confused.
What's wrong with you? You look like this place is a melting pot. It's not just the criminal Latino element that we have here.
No, I just think
We have
that
outstanding scientific students.
yeah. We got a lot smarter for sure. But I think that people think when they see me, they can get away with a lot more.
Oh, shit. People are fucking trying you.
Do you remember when that one Wednesday show with Joey Diaz when he came through?
Yeah.
And I was telling you that one guy, like as soon as everyone would walk up, he would just blurt something out. And then, you remember that?
Yeah.
And then I went over to him and I was like, hey, we can't call out anymore. And he goes, at a comedy show?
Yeah. No shit, dummy.
Yeah, if you said that, he'd be like, yes, sorry, sir.
I don't know. Like people always say that that I'm like I scare people, and I'm like, what? I'm like, and then I realized like I've seen pictures of me in like the background of things when I don't know people are taking a picture of me, and I just look like a serial killer. Just like I'm quiet.
Like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, I'm just like quiet and like I have like resting killer face. Like, my face just stays like serious, but I'm like, I'm not thinking a mean thing at all. Like,
yeah, you're the definition of a teddy bear. Like you are a very imposing looking person, but when you talk to you, you're just like, oh, this guy is a pussy.
As a matter of fact, I have no desire to fight anyone at all, except for somebody that used to work here, but we're not going to say names.
You gotta tell me after.
I threatened to throw him down the stairs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to know.
That's hilarious.
Definitely tell me.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
It's just I just have short patience with some people, especially when I feel like they're trying to, like, I don't know, like when they're just trying to test you. I guess I don't know. It's weird because I've had people challenge me to fights and shit, and I'm just like, shut up, like I'm not fucking fighting you.
Yeah, like what are you trying to prove?
Yeah, like I remember one time my friend was like, why didn't you fight? And I was like, what do you mean? We left I don't know if you know Club Bliss in Clifton.
No.
It used to be a club we went. I don't even think it's there anymore, but it was like a club that we used to go to a lot in like the 2000s, the late 2000s, and we were I was working at the Mail Review in Atlantic City at that time, so I was like 260, like 12% body fat. Like, I was in great shape, and I was with all these other guys that were in great shape. And the one guy I was with actually like trained in fighting and shit. And we were, it was the end of the night. We fucking basically closed the club down. The lights go on. And we're like, we weren't wasted. We were drunk, but we weren't like out of control. Like we were just fucking drunk. But we weren't fucking belligerent. We weren't being assholes. We were just, the lights are on at the club already, so we're like getting ready to leave. We're making sure we got everybody. All of a sudden, this girl who is wasted comes walking over, and she's like, I'm looking for my friend. Have you seen my friend? And I was like, I'll be your friend. And she was like, "Nah, I'm looking for my
Smooth.
friend." I was like, "Oh, I don't know what your friend is." Like, I didn't. Then that was it. Like, that was the only like slick line. I didn't degrade her. I didn't grab her. And like, I've seen other guys. You know, guys can get fucking aggressive, trying to hit on girls and stuff, and they grab them.
I've seen videos.
Right? They say shit that makes them feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel uncomfortable sometimes. The shit that dudes will say, and like, I didn't do any of that. All I literally said was like, "I'll be your friend." And then I was like, "Well, who's your friend? What are you looking for?" Then I'm like in help mode.
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, who's your friend? What does she look like? Maybe we could all hang out, you know?" So whatever. She leaves. I don't say nothing. So then we leave. We go outside, and this fucking guy comes up to me. So, "You talking to my girl?" I was like, "What?" He's like, "You talking to my girl?" You know, like doing that shit. We're literally standing in front of the club. There's a cop parked right here. 2 cops are standing there. We're literally in front. Their lights from the headlights on the cop car are shining on us. And this guy's like, "You want?" He's like, "Problem?" I was like, "Yo, what are you talking about?" I was like, "Nobody was talking to your girl." I was like, "Whatever." He's like, "Why don't you come around back? Let's talk about it back there." I was like, "I'm not going behind the building with you." Right. You fucking retarded? Like,
yeah, then you get stabbed.
Yeah. He's like, "No." He's like, "We can fight about this right now." I was like, "Well, do something then. We're right here. Do something right here. If not, I ain't walking with you anywhere." And then he whatever, he left, and we left. My boy was like, "Why didn't you fight him? Why didn't you go around the corner?" I was like, "Are you stupid? Like,
yeah, that's
for
nuts.
what?"
It's one of like, I guess I didn't realize it until I like got older, but I would, you see that stuff all the time, like in person, and obviously it's like a big thing in movies, but like, that's just the most insecure guy ever. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, like
exactly.
If someone came up to my wife and did that, I was like, "Hey, have fun talking to her.
Yeah,
if she
luck.
doesn't tell a great story."
Yeah, like, good luck. There's like a line where if you're hitting on a girl, if we're out and I'm with this chick and somebody like, not with me, but like she goes to get drinks or something, and I can see from across the room, if guys are talking to her, that means I got a good looking girl, right? And whatever, I'm not saying nothing. I remember being insecure as like a teenager, and being at there used to be this teen club called the Music Factory, and it was in Route 17 in Rutherford, and it was like a club that you can go to as a teenager, like 15, 16, like it was a teen nightclub.
That's so weird.
They only serve like Coke and Diet Coke. Like there was no alcohol.
What's the draw to that?
Because it was, they play dope music, you're dancing.
And then
it's like
chicks.
a big party and just chicks everywhere, yeah. And, just there was like pool tables. Like it was a really dope spot. And for a teenager, you go out on a Friday night, like I think it was like a Friday or Saturday night. And like you have something to do, and
right.
And it was like close. I think it would close like at like 12 or something. And anyway, I remember being there with a girl, with like a girl that was my girlfriend at the time, and I remember her dancing with another guy, and I'm like planning this fight and stuff,
yeah.
And like and like me and my friends were talking about it, and I didn't do shit because I'm never been a fighter, right? But then there's a disrespect point where if you're with a girl and a guy disrespects her, then I feel like you have to fight.
Oh yeah, defend your lady's honor.
You have to, exactly. Especially, this is the situation I was in. I probably told this fucking story before, but when I first met my ex-wife, we met at a gym, and we used to go to the gym all the time together. I saw my ex-wife for like a year at the gym before. I never said a word to her because she had her hat down, headphones in. She looked like she was about business. I'm not a girl approacher. I'm not like somebody that could just start talking to a girl.
Oh yeah.
I'm the worst game in the world.
No way.
And sometimes I could play off of it comedically, like that line, like "I'll be your friend." Like that was a tag. That wasn't a pickup line. You know what I mean?
A great joke, right?
Yes, that was a joke. Not like I could play I could do a pun if the pun is like sexually directed towards you, then that might be considered game. But other than that, I don't have pickup lines. I don't have macking skills and all that shit. I have none of that.
Those guys have always like amazed me.
I don't know how you
it.
talk to a woman and be smooth and like get, not even like, I can have a conversation with a girl, have her like me, give me her number, but then for me to like get to sex, I have no idea. All the sex I ever have is because a girl wants to have sex with me. She tells me.
She badgers me.
Yeah, she tells me that she wants to have sex, not because it's never me like making moves and shit. Or they catch on to my stupid innuendos.
Oh yeah.
You know? So anyway, I ended up meeting my ex-wife just because we were both on a exercise bike together, and we had a mutual friend. I didn't know we had this person in common, but they came up to us and started talking to us, and all three of us started talking. Then he left, and we stayed talking, and then whatever. Then we kept talking. So now we're at the gym, and now you like if you go to the same gym for a long time, you get like a group of friends at the gym. And, you know, like a kind of like people that you see every day. Yeah. Whatever. Like some of the guys there I lifted with. Sometimes we talk in the locker room or whatever. So I had like associates, not like friends, just people that I knew. I didn't talk to them outside of the gym, whatever. But, you know, she's my girl now. And one day I don't go to the gym, and this... she comes and tells me like the next day that, or she texts me like during the day, and we were talking, and she says that this guy at the gym that was like pretty cool with was like hitting on her, right? And was like telling her, not only hitting on her, but saying that like, you shouldn't be with me. You should be with him.
What a scumbag.
Yeah, exactly.
Can he lift more than you?
Yeah, but this guy was huge.
Oh, that
right?
sucks.
This guy was huge. He was like a little tank. He was small, Cuban dude. He was built like a tank. He was like 5, maybe 5'10". No, not even. He was probably like 5'8", 5'9", but like 220. Like Jesus. Just a big dude, right? On all the fucking gear. And I was big too at the time because I was on all the gear too, right? But I wasn't. This guy was taking some other shit he was just huge, right? So he fucking says this shit, and she's telling me this shit. So then after work, I went home. I didn't go to the gym, and I'm fucking sitting there thinking about it. And she's telling me. So then my brother comes home. I was living with my brother at the time, and I'm mad. Not only I really didn't care. Like the stuff that, like I said, like if you're trying to talk to my girl, that's because I have a good looking girl. It's not right. I'm not insecure about it. I was mad because I couldn't let this slide because he did it in front of other people.
Yeah, that's like your group there too.
Yes, he did it in front of other people. He did it to like punk me out, and I'm like, I either have to fight this guy or I can't go back to the gym again, right? Like I can't show my face around there and be like this fucking punk. Then everybody's gonna try. You know what I mean? It's like prison. It's like if you don't defend yourself, dude, somebody's coming to take your fucking Jello. So you better stick up for yourself. So I was like, damn it. So I told my brother the story. And my brother knows me. He was like, shit, you got to go knock his ass out. And I'm like, oh, damn it. I was like, all right, I'll be right back. And I left her there with my brother. I left my apartment. I drove all the way to the gym. I scanned into the gym. And then I waited, and I like waited against this, like the cage where all the freaking barbells. And I waited at the cage, and I'm just looking at the door. And I'm just waiting for him to get there because I looked around, he wasn't there. So I'm just waiting. Then all of a sudden I see him walk in. He comes in and he's coming from work. So he's got khakis, his polo, he's got his gym bag, he scans. And then so as soon as I see him come in, I start walking. So he comes in and I start walking around. He scans through the little turnstile. And he comes in and he comes like this. And then he sees me coming at him, right? And I look at him and I go, and he goes, and I was like, "Skook!" You had him? I just fucking blasted him, bro, with everything I had. And he fucking awesome. Goes down, and I get on top of him. And meanwhile, there was a trainer next to me giving a tour to a group of ladies, that, like older Spanish. I
swear
ladies.
This doesn't happen.
I fucking hit this guy. I get on top of him. I start fucking hitting him. Right?
Shit.
All the fucking trainers, like all the male trainers, come running over. I stepped on this lady's foot, like in the commotion, because then they all grabbed me and like, pulled me off of him. He gets up, his shirt is ripped, his whole fucking mouth is bloody, and he's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's a little too late for that.
Yeah. He's like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. And I was like, immediately, I'm like, this guy knew exactly why I hit him.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't wrong. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
That's got to feel twice as good, too.
I was like, I wasn't wrong. If he got up and was like, what the fuck is your problem?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, he would know. He was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
Dude, it is so funny that you signed into the gym to kick someone's ass.
I scanned in to fight.
Dude, if that was like the last day of the month and your membership didn't renew, that would have been an entire different story.
Dude, they told me to go wait. They're like, then I was like, I calmed down. Like I relaxed. I was like, all right. I'm good. And then they put me in they were like, go wait in the office. So, they have like those glass offices you can see through. So I'm waiting in the office and they're talking to him or whatever. And I'm like, and then I'm like, fuck, I'm on parole. I was like, they're calling the cops. Why am I waiting here? No bullshit. I wasn't on parole. I had already finished, but it was recent. I was like, oh shit, I just finished.
It still doesn't feel safe.
Yeah, I have 2 felonies. I'm like, I can't just be hanging around here. So I opened the door. I looked at the lady who was standing there holding her foot. I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to step on your foot. And then all of a sudden she was like, oh, it's okay, no problem. I was like, all right, bye. So I left. I get in my car. And I go to drive out the parking lot, and when I make the turn, the gym is like, it's a huge parking lot. There's like a McDonald's, a Walmart, like all this shit. The gym is right on the end of the parking lot. So I get in my car and I start driving to go leave, and there's a fucking cop standing right there, and he's like this. He has his hand out, and he's like, pull over.
For you?
Yeah. Oh. He's like, pull over here. I was like, oh, fuck, man. So I pull over. I get out of the car, and the cop comes over. He's like, hey, there's a report you were fighting here. I was like, yeah, I got into an altercation with somebody. He's like, all right, wait right here. I'm going to go find out what happened. I'll come back and talk to you, all right? I was like, yep, no problem. So we're on the side of the building, right? This is the building. So we're on this side, right, of the building. Then there's the front over here. So I'm on the side of the building.
Like an alleyway?
Yeah, well, just like because the parking lot emptied right out that way.
I see.
So I just pulled to the side like this. When the cop was standing there stopping me from leaving the parking lot, he told me just to pull. So I just pulled to the side. So I get out of the car. I'm waiting here. The cop was like, I'm going to go find out what happened, and I'll be right back. I'm like, all right. So he walks like this, stops at the corner, comes walking back to me. He's like, you fought that guy? I was like, yeah. He's like, holy shit. And he turned around and this guy looked like a monster. And he goes over there and talks to him. And then he comes back with him. And he's like, hey, nobody wants to press charges. The gym is not going to press charges. They just don't want you to come back here anymore.
Understandable.
I was like, no problem. And he's like, but, we can't have this problem. He goes, so in order for you guys not to get in trouble, you have to, squash it between you two guys. He's like, is that all right? And I looked at him. He's like, man, I'm really sorry. I was like, all right, whatever. And I fucking shook his hand. Cop's like, all right, go ahead, you're good. And I fucking got in my car. I remember I got in the car, I drove to the light, and I'm sitting at the light like still fucking tense. Then the light turned green, and I made the left, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe I got away with that.
Dude, that cop did not want to do paperwork.
That cop was like, nobody had a problem. The guy knew he was wrong for what he did. I didn't fucking hurt anybody. Well, other than that lady that stepped up on her toe. But I think good thing was that I apologized to her on the way out. And I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hit you. And she's like, oh, it's okay. No problem. She was like standing there literally like mad. She was like, oh, like this, doing this with her foot. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry. Are you all right? And she's like, yeah, I'm all right. All of a sudden, like her whole attitude changed, and she fucking stood up straight. And she's like,
someone's
I'm
paying
okay.
attention to me.
I'm fine. Yeah. She's like, I'm fine. Thank you very much. I was like, all right. Again, I'm really sorry. She's like, all right. And I fucking tried to take off. I was like, fuck this. You got me sitting in this room. You already got me locked up.
That's the best way that situation could have possibly ended.
Yeah.
You got your fucking vengeance.
Yeah.
The cop
that's the only way. Like, that's the reason to fight over a girl.
Right.
And I was annoyed that I had to go down there and do this shit. I was more mad about that than the actual disrespect. Like, that was fucked up too. Mm-hmm. But I just would never talk to you again.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this guy saw me. We saw him at the fair. Me and my ex-wife were on a date. We were like, still dating and shit and in love. We were on a date at the Meadowlands Fair. and we saw him with his pregnant wife.
Wait, he was married at the time?
Yeah.
Oh, what a fucking scumbag.
Yeah, dude. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was fucking in a relationship and shit. And so my ex-wife met her, and like we saw the baby, and she's fucking pregnant. And we talked, like, you know what I mean? Like, we were cool. And then after that, fuck that dude.
That definitely means that's not the first guy that guy's got punched in the face. Like that.
No,
that
it probably
is his MO.
is. That's probably. I bet you he probably never did it again.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
He probably got away with it for so long and thought it was okay, and then got punched in the face about it. Had his whole mouth split open.
Dude, that is so crazy. Because I used to get into fights in like college and shit. But now, just like knowing what you know, everybody's got like, probably got a gun or a knife
or training.
Yeah, a lot of cauliflower. I wrestled, so I knew to look for that first. I was like, all right, this guy's got carpal tunnel. I think I'm good.
Oh, bro, before UFC, I would have been like, look at this retard. Like, he's fucking he's
deformed.
Wrong. Yeah, he's fucking all deformed and shit. But then I probably would have been weary of his retard strength. I'm like, oh, this guy's probably super strong. He's got that fucking deformity.
That's funny.
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got into a fight for like an actual like defending someone's honor or a serious reason. I remember I was in college and I was wearing a bright orange T-shirt, which looking back on it, yeah, that guy probably should have fought me.
He fought you because you had an orange T-shirt? Dude, were you in a gang unit?
Dude, he looked at me, looked at my T-shirt, and he just goes, "Nice shirt, retard." And I was just like, damn. All right, now we're going to fight.
All right,
but that's
sir.
it.
I'm defending my honor on this one.
Yeah. You've offended a nice lady. Prepare to be hit.
Yeah, I can't imagine fighting like over stupid shit. I've never, my whole life, like people would try to pick fights with me, and I never fought. Like I just was never aggressive. I was always like I didn't want to get hurt, and I didn't want to hurt nobody else. And I was like, I always thought of myself as like a punk. Like, oh man, I'm a punk. I don't want to fight. But I realized this when I had my daughter, and she was in, I think she was like in pre-K. Yeah, it was daycare, right? And she's like 4.5, maybe 5 years old, probably. She could talk. She could like have a conversation. She might have been, it was like towards the end of her pre-K of daycare, right before she started kindergarten. And she kept saying that this boy in this class was like bothering her and like would like take her toy or something like that. So I was like, hey, you know what you do? And she's like, what, daddy? I was like, grab a little truck or something. And I was like, you bash him in the head with it. I was like, and then he'll stop bothering you. She was like, yeah, I'm going to bash him in the head with it. And I was like, that's what you do. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to bash him in the head. And then she thought about it for a minute, and all of a sudden she started crying. And I was like, what's the matter? And she's like, I don't want to bash him in the head, daddy. That's not nice. And I was like, oh, you don't have to bash him. And I was like, that's good that you think like that.
Yeah, that is very nice.
I was like, maybe I just don't want to hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like maybe I'm just like I don't want to be violent toward. I don't want to see anybody else in pain.
Yeah, it is weird because you also that thing about not wanting to see anyone in pain. Like, what if you did something hard? Because you hear about people doing like the one punch killers. I went down a deep YouTube rabbit hole about people getting interviewed after they killed someone by accident. Life is ruined. I know, just from like an argument about that guy talking to your girl.
Could you imagine you're in jail for 25 years? You probably get like 10 to 15 on a manslaughter, because it'll be like a involuntary manslaughter charge or something. But it doesn't matter, dude. 7 years they give you if you have a fantastic lawyer. 10, 12 years, if you're a dickhead. Like, in that time, everything changes. You change. Now you're going to be freaking psychologically tortured in a prison.
Jesus.
Because it's not a nice fucking place. The county jail is not a nice place for 2 weeks. I was in the county jail for 2 weeks, and it is miserable.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, jail food makes your shit turn to like soft serve ice cream.
Well, then I must be eating jail food.
It used to come out like this fucking soft. I was like, oh no.
Oh, Jesus.
But fucking, it's you're in a cell. You're around all these savages. You know what I mean? All these aggressive people, violent people. I remember we were in the one dude that was in our pod, because I was only in like a holding pod. I was in a pod where you stayed until you, like if you transferred from somewhere else, like if you were in prison and then you came to, you had to go to court in that county, you stayed in that pod because it was like a temporary, or until you got assigned to like a permanent pod. County jail, you only do a year. If you get sentenced to anything more than a year, you go to state prison. So if you got 11 months, if you get like an 11th month charge or 10-month jail charge, you go to county jail and you do your time there. So you go into like an intake unit, and then you wait in that unit until they assign you a unit. Me, I was waiting for a bed in a rehab, so I was in the intake unit. So I didn't know how long I was going to be there. It could have been, the guy told me, he's like, it could be 2 days, it could be 2 months. Like,
that's insane. And that's before your time starts?
No, that my time started because I had
okay.
got sentenced, and then that was it. They put me in, so my time started from that time. So it didn't matter. But if I was waiting for a bed for 2 months, I still had to do 6 months of a program. You know what I mean? Luckily, it was only 2 weeks. But in that 2 weeks, one of the other guys that was there was a convicted murderer that was waiting for a trial. He was on trial for something else. So he was there, you know, in the pod, waiting. So I remember other people talking about it and telling me, and then I just remember the aura around this dude. For me, it had to be like that for everybody else, because I looked at that guy, I was like, I don't even want to say hi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Probably
like,
felt the evil on him.
yes, like I don't even want to fucking talk to this dude. And then I remember being in the TV room, and I go in the TV room, I'm watching whatever's on the television. I don't care to change the channel. I don't need to watch a show. I'm there just to distract myself for a little while. I'm watching whatever's on the show, whatever's on the TV. And I remember watching the TV, and then he comes in to the television room and walks up to the television and just changes the channel. We're all sitting there watching it. It's not like he didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That there was 20 dudes sitting there watching the television, and he just walked in, changed the channel. Not a fucking person said a word.
Jesus
He just
Christ.
changed the channel and then fucking sat down. And then he came in, right? Like all the the chairs were like scattered around, and then he came in, changed the channel. One dude in the front got up, just walked right out, right? And then he went and sat right in his chair.
Dude, that's wild.
And just watched TV. And I was like, we're watching this now.
Just immediate top dog.
It's immediate, dude. Like, nobody said a fucking word. Bro, everybody that was, it's not like we were in a unit with hard dudes. You know, there were some people I knew there that were from the streets, that were drug dealers, that could throw hands, that weren't punks. But you're talking about a fucking murderer here.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he was he was like a violent murderer, like somebody that wasn't his only time he got arrested was for that murder. Like he's been in and out of jail for violent crimes.
Well,
like
it makes sense that he's comfortable then.
And you see him, and he looked like that nasty fucking bald head, you know what I mean? Like, just, he was fucking stocky too. And it's just like, this is somebody you don't want to cross
White
paths
guy?
with. No.
Oh.
Black guy. He was like,
Well, I didn't want to assume.
he wasn't dark. He was probably like the color of this table. He was like sandy look. Like he was light skinned, but he was bald. He had like a rough scruff on his face, but he had this look in his eyes that were different than anybody else. And you were just like, I don't want to cross this man at all. Not even in like a, did you see that game? Like, no, I don't want to say a fucking word to this dude.
Right.
At all.
The less amount of time that we spend together, the better.
Yeah. And I had like 2 or 3 people in there that I knew from outside. And I remember seeing these people, and I'm like, I said, what's up to them? They came up to me and they said, what's up? And I recognized them but I didn't remember where.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "Oh, what's up, Vic?" And I was like, "Yo, what's up, man?" And then like talking to them and shit. And then I was like, "Where the fuck do I know that? Like, how do I know people in jail? Like, this is fucking crazy." And one of the kids that I knew sat with him for like when they ate and stuff. And then, because that's how I got all the intel on him, was from that kid. Because I remember telling him, like, "Yo, what are you doing sitting with that fucking dude?" He's like, "Oh, that's," I forgot his name. I'll just say Darnell for fucking, for a story. So he's like, "Oh, Darnell," he's like, "He's cool. He's just, he caught a body." But I'm like, "What?" He's telling me this like nonchalant.
Yeah,
like,
that sounds pretty cool.
yeah. Like, that, he wasn't even trying to make it look cool. He was saying it just as a matter of fact. Like, if I was telling that story, I'd be like, "Hey, man, fucking guy over there," like, like
just
I
keep looking over your shoulder and shit.
I gotta tell you something. Come inside my room. I gotta talk to you about something. That guy over there, like I'd say it low and shit, and be like I'm breaking news, like that's interesting. To this guy, it's like somebody he just knows, like he's just been around these people his whole life.
Yeah, like what's new?
Like, yeah, to me, I'm like, man, I grew up different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's such a crazy. Like, I've never been on the inside. That might shock anybody, but
oh man,
it's such a crazy like psychological thing, because I've watched that show 60 Days In. You ever see that?
Yeah, my laptop's about to die.
Oh, okay.
I should have brought the charger.
What do you want to do?
We gotta wrap it up so I can have some mid story. I'm sorry, dude.
It's cool, dude.
We gotta wrap it up. I'm like, I look at this, I'm like, oh shit. I knew it too. I was like, I should bring my charger. I didn't know fucking Audacity was gonna kill the.
This is a quick bite-sized episode.
Yeah, I'm happy to just be back and potting again. Man, thanks for coming.
Of course,
do
man.
the episode. This
Always.
is fucking it. The VCast. As always, I'm coming back. More episodes. I've been on hiatus, getting fat and being lazy, but we're coming back with new episodes. I'll bring Chris back so we can finish talking about prison life. And he could tell me his jail stories from A&E.
They're just as hard.
That's it. Have a good one. Thank you.
You're listening to my daddy of the VCast.